Welcome to Relationships as Spiritual Practice, Bridging the Secular and Spiritual. With your host, Elia Ava MCD, founder of Mindful Compassionate Dialogue and the Wise Heart Community.
Hello, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm super excited today to share with you my colleague and dear friend, Ava Frank.
Hello.
We have been working to create a version of Mindful Compassionate Dialogue for therapists called MCD Therapy.
Yes, it's been quite the project.
Yeah.
For years now.
For years. Yes, for years. When I say we, I mean mostly Ava. I'm supporting, and this is your dream and your passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been quite a passion project. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah. And we want to bring it to you today to tell you a little about it and also to plant the seeds in our world, in our collective consciousness of a new kind of movement of skill and understanding in relationship and in the world of healing as well.
Yes.
You want to say a little bit about on your website, mcdtherapy.com?
A little bit about which part of it. There's a lot on that website.
Well, I was going to say on your website, you have the words a revolution.
It's a revolution in therapy.
Yeah. Do you want to tell folks why you're saying that, why we are saying that? What comes to you there?
Well, those words had consistently been coming to me throughout the process of creating this. I think as it became more and more clear over time why, which is, there's starting at the collective view, especially in dominant Western culture. If we think of what is dominant within the culture and the way people are relating, how they understand how to relate, what's imbued in media, TV. There's a lot of power over power under communication. There's just a lack of awareness of sometimes how to connect with oneself and really open to a quality of connection that's really about collaboration with another. So much so that I really think for couples and individuals to learn how to do that is pretty revolutionary. In this space.
Absolutely. Let's go back a little bit. You said the words power over, power under. Not everybody listening may have a huge familiarity with those terms. Do you want to say something about that? Or?
Sure. What I mean by that is oftentimes people are engaging in communication that is about, in some ways, kind of trying to win or kind of giving up. Right? So there might be a little bit of like tit for tat. I did this, so you owe me. There's like a built-in like owing of someone, or there could be, there's so many ways this can come through. Blaming, shoulding.
Maybe it's so common we wouldn't even recognize it as power over, power under, unless someone like you right now would be naming it.
Yeah, I think it's very, very common. And oftentimes when I'm working with couples, what it looks like is seeing two people trying to collaborate, trying to move towards something, but what they really wind up doing is each kind of getting in their own camp. They're each an individual one-person team working on what they're hoping to achieve in that conversation. And so they don't have a unified vision of what are we trying to create together in this moment, and really working together as a team with the interest of both people, with the interests of both of their needs, trying to empower each person to have their needs validated and included in a really collaborative process.
An equity, a mutuality.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the most popular connection gem in 17 years of publishing the connection gem was how to be myself in this relationship, or I can't be myself in this relationship. And I kind of hear you speaking to that, like this idea of power with and a collaborative relationship says I hold on to who I am. I get to show up with my experience equally to you. Not forgetting myself in some way.
Yes. Yeah. Or feeling, and maybe hopefully a couple learning how to, or people in relationships getting to learn how to stay connected to themselves in that full way, but building a trust relationally that they know how to engage with each person's full autonomy and they stay connected.
Yeah.
You know, you get to be full of you, have your own unique values, interests, needs. I get to be fully me, and we are working together for the benefit of each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And, hearing you, it's easy for me, and I'm guessing people who are listening, easy to say, yes, of course, we want that. And I just want to highlight, we're living in a world in which that is not very accessible and for a lot of people, and we're seeing very, very big extremes politically
Yeah.
of the opposite of that. And so, what else about MCD therapy is helping those to be more than words, more than hopes and dreams?
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the things that, I've been doing couples therapy for quite a while now. And earlier on in my practice, there's a lot that I was doing kind of behind the scenes. I was helping to facilitate a process with my clients, and they were getting to have a
Mm-hmm.
felt sense of some change happening.
Uh-huh.
But with, MCD and then bringing it into therapy, we have this really clear map that also really empowers people. It's very accessible. So there's that clarity of the 12 relationship competencies. And sometimes if we're having, say we know we want to do needs-based negotiation, but we're having a lot of difficulty accessing that, even though we know that skill,
Mm-hmm.
there's also the foundations.
Mm-hmm.
So we can oftentimes in therapy, we are moving over to those foundations, or as helpers, we're helping people with those foundations of things like, are we accessing warmth? Are we actually
Mm-hmm.
in a state of compassion, even with ourselves in this moment? Are we, what's happening for our regulation or our sense of security or those foundational elements?
Yeah, we
So,
call those the 9 foundations of an
yes,
integrated sense of self, for
yes.
those who don't.
Those who haven't done that series,
Yeah.
it's in there.
It's in there. It's on the learning platform.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can enter there and take, if you're a self-paced learner, you can enter into that and learn
yeah.
about those.
Right. So I think to come back and answer your
Mm-hmm.
question, I think having that clarity of a map, it's like I know the map, but also when I'm working with clients, I'm able to, as we build an awareness of, oh, it seems like the thing that would be helpful here is to know how to track reactivity and manage reactivity.
You say
I
that
don't,
out loud to them.
we say that out
Yeah,
loud.
your
We all
process
have
is
that.
transparent.
You're right. We have that shared awareness together. So
Yeah.
I'm not just aware of that, we're holding that awareness together.
Mm.
And the skills that I know around that, I can directly offer them in a really transparent and clear way. And they can have an opportunity to both explore that in session, but also take that, outside of session and have a lot of resources to support them in that
Yeah.
work outside of session.
Sounds like you are asking for and trusting in their capacity to learn to track themselves, to practice the skills that are presented.
Yeah. Yes. I think, especially, honestly, I think oftentimes when people have experienced enough pain around a particular area,
Yeah.
right? We experience enough pain around conflict and or maybe disconnection with our not having connection with ourselves, something there's an awareness of, I would like for this to feel different. We're kind of sometimes from that place are very inspired
Yeah.
to want change, to want that kind of
Yeah.
transformation. And yeah, I like how MCD creates a really empowered path for
Hmm.
healing and growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so integrating that into therapy, I'm just able to bring that transparency there.
Yeah. One of the things I said as we were preparing for today was that we can have an association of therapy being like being pulled around in the muck, like, oh, we're going to complain. It's
Mm.
going to be a long complaint session. And we're just going to analyze all the muckiness of our dynamics. And then somehow that will create change magically.
Oh yeah, not in my sessions.
Yeah,
Not what we're doing.
we're proposing something different
That's
here.
right. That's right.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
say more?
sure. Well, at the heart of MCD, of course, is really this intention, this life-serving intention of connection, what really
Hmm.
serves life in that moment, what serves relationship in that
Yeah.
moment. And so, yeah, when you're talking about that kind of a session, I don't think that's what people are really wanting to do.
All right.
They sometimes don't know a different path.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we know in dominant Western world a lot about analysis,
Yeah.
analyzing of things, getting really cognitive about it, which can have some benefit. It's great to have that capacity. But actually, what I have found is really supportive is when we focus on that
Hmm.
central, the heart of the intention itself, sometimes we can even drop some of the skills, right? As long as we need them sometimes to get us to that place.
Yeah.
But if we are in that intention of what serves connection in this moment, what would help me to stay centered, connect with myself, with you, in collaboration. And we kind of keep bringing, at least and on the work, the way I do it, we keep that as the focus. We're coming back to that. So rather than going back into the muck and the mire of what's not working, it's good to gather what we need information wise from that, and then have our focus be on tending to what we want to create.
That's right. So the work, the healing, the change is informed by the present moment aliveness and tracking everything we do as a little check-in. Did this help us connect more? Did this bring more compassion, expansion, clarity? And if not, guess what? We have a lot of other things we can do.
That's right.
I think that's part of the revolution you're proposing too, is that the MCD map is saying we have all these places we can go. Our life-serving intention, the 9 foundations of integrated sense of self, the 12 relationship competencies, the 4 fruits of our practice. We have all these places we can look. There's no reason to go back and rehash.
Right. Rehashing. I find there is value in one of the foundations, which is awareness, right? And sometimes when we are moving towards gaining awareness of ourselves, we are accessing and building an understanding of like, oh, I have this core limiting belief around this particular tender need, right? And we can gather that information. Sometimes in some therapeutic modalities, we might do some healing at that core. But it's really, and then getting to shift though more towards, and how can we be in that new experience around that need now? Right? How can we move into building a sense of, oh, support? I could ask for that from others. I don't have to do everything on my own, right? And to like, and sometimes our we have an awareness. Our body's a little scared of that. There's unconscious parts of our physiology, our psyche, that are maybe holding us back or kind of creating a barrier to receiving that. It's good to have that awareness, but working in the present moment, and we're working and focusing, moving towards what helps us to access that nourishment.
Beautiful.
What helps us to access that new capacity in a way of relating with others.
Yeah. I want to say a little of that back because I really want folks to hear 2 things. One is that we're not attempting in this new form of therapy, MCD therapy, to ignore that we have traumatic pasts. And we have past pain and hurts that we want to heal. We still want to heal those.
That's right.
The difference is we're not solely dependent on, let's go dig around in your past until we find the root and then do a healing intervention. We're saying when something from the past wants to heal, it will become present.
Oh, yeah, it'll reveal itself right in the moment.
We will see it. And we will tend to it.
That's right in the moment.
And if we need to draw on a traditional Hakomi method thing or another modality to do a healing intervention, we will. The difference is that won't be our only choice.
That's right.
It's one of many choices to serve life in that moment and in the relationship we're working with.
Yes. Yeah. And I've certainly seen the power of people getting to have those deeper healing moments where it's directly in that kind of a therapeutic approach. And our relationships, right, can be such a powerful place of healing. And I've gotten to witness when people can sit together and have that experience for the first time of like learning how to really be with each other in a more empathic way. And they're both having an experience of like, oh my gosh, my world is really being seen and known, and I'm understood in this moment. And they're building more of that skill for attunement. Sometimes just even that, just being able to be with each other more, with more presence, starts to also create a foundation for where healing can occur. And I could give many more examples of how getting to practice and live the different experience is a big part of the healing.
Yeah, and I'm hearing you say something really key to this work is that in a session or in our work with someone, we're considering every aspect of experience, emotion, spirit, body, mind,
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, beliefs. We're not leaving anything out. We're not over-focusing in any one area. We're
Right.
understanding every part of experience. Your whole person is valuable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. And how do you believe MCD therapy will affect those who are in the helping fields, therapists, and others who are listening who may be helping with their family, or they may be a nurse, but they're still in a position where they're facilitating some sort of contribution and healing? Just not that they're going to take our MCD therapy, because that's for therapists,
Right.
but just to have an understanding of the approach here to healing for helping professionals.
Sure. Well, especially for helping professionals, I do think having at least an introduction to the larger sense of the map would be really helpful, because really it's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
At any given moment, if you're working with a client, a patient, there may be something that would be supportive for them that's really in the relationship competencies area that might be, oh, it sounds like there's really repair needed right now. There's been a big rupture. There's a lot of skills that can be learned that would support repair, and maybe you're able to bring those skills, shine some light into a path of learning how to do that. But also, if you are aware of, security, have a little more information about the attachment system. How when we are activated around that system, that might present, and have learned about that foundation, one of the 9 foundations. Then you might also be able to, even if you're not an expert in that area, at least be able to point people towards some resource.
Yeah.
You might be able to look together at it. And there are oftentimes, practices that are in those resources for the 9 foundations. So there could be some foundational practices for supporting security in that moment. Right.
Yeah.
And we could go through all the different 9 foundations. And those are oftentimes what people are working on in therapy. But one of the things I like about MCD is you've brought some of that wisdom from that psychology world, and you've brought it, in a really clear way to the public that's pretty accessible.
Yeah, and that's definitely been my dream, that knowledge is open to all.
Yes.
Psychological knowledge, healing knowledge, and that we're empowering each other with that knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's not attached to roles and labels.
That's right. We're trying to reduce some gatekeeping here.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I want to highlight 2 things that I'm hearing you say. One is that maybe we could call this a modality of presence, because that is the foundation of everything, that we're in the present moment with as much mindfulness, compassion, and attention as we can offer. And then
and we know what to do if we get out of that state. We know how we are also learning how to come back to that place and be aware of what helps bring us back to it.
Right. It doesn't come magically. We're
That's
also
right.
cultivating
That's
presence,
right.
and we're learning to cultivate presence. Yes. And the map of MCD offers specific practices for presence and specific practices for every aspect of the map.
That's right.
So once you have the map memorized, it's like a menu pops up.
Absolutely.
As you're in front of someone, and you can get curious. Oh, I wonder if this is a time for repair.
Yeah.
You can get curious with your clients. Does this seem like a moment for repair? And they have the information you've been sharing all along. And then once you go, you just say, oh, yes, it's time for repair. You can go right into those very specific skills and practices that are right there.
That's right. And I want to weave in what we were starting with about power with. And in that, the process becomes really clear and collaborative.
Yeah.
Right?
Because of the shared information.
That's right. When you've named that map, there's a clarity of there's an awareness together of, well, here's the challenge, here's the area of growth or transformation we're wanting to attend to. Oh, here's an option for a clear path of a way to do that. And from someone's own inspiration of, yes, I would like to try that on. I would like to explore that. They can enter into that path of growth or learning. So instead of kind of this thing being applied to them, the people who you're working with can be much more engaged and actually collaborate in the process and include a lot more of their choice and clarity for what they're ready for along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want our clients to not need us.
That's the hope. I want them to be empowered with all of this so they can fire me someday.
Yes, absolutely. And in the coming year, we're hoping to offer a in-person program for therapists.
Well, in this year, we're going to do a consultation and mentorship group for therapists. We're going to do 12 2-hour online introductions around the competencies and how they can be utilized in the therapeutic setting. And then it looks like, I think in the coming year, 2026, there might be a larger in-person offering.
Yeah.
Unless there's something else you have in mind we haven't talked about yet.
We don't know what will pop up. We stay open.
We keep on creating things.
We keep listening. Yeah, we keep creating. The creative flow. Yeah. So folks can join us this year for the mentorship group or the workshop series that is for therapists. So you can be, if you're a therapist listening, you can be with your colleagues. Be fun.
Yes. Yeah, if you want to join a community of like-minded therapists that are interested in, that value this consciousness, this approach to growth and transformation, can be a great way to make community with those therapists. I'm looking forward to getting to meet more of those people in our area and around the country who get to join us online.
Yeah. Great. And they can find you and find the classes where?
At mcdtherapy.com.
Yeah, it'll be written under the podcast here.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much. Anything to add before we close today?
Nothing's coming immediately to mind. Maybe I want to share that I think this is going to be a continuing process in the years to come. I have a vision for this really growing, and I hope that this really accessible way of growth for clients that I'm looking forward to the mycelial network expanding out around this. And I'm looking forward to building a collaborative learning community over time where therapists are getting to come together and support each other in their learning and growth.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about doing this and also having this maybe school, if you will, it'll probably be official school someday, operating as more of a collaborative learning community. So just want to share that little celebration. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the changes we'll make in our collective consciousness as we come together in a revolution in therapy.
Yeah, that's we can be the microcosm, and as we cultivate this change within our own relationships, hopefully that just continues to grow and compound and supports the collective in accessing this change that I think could be really supportive in this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for all your support along the way.
You're welcome.
Any last things for you want to know?
I would just want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your willingness to grow and evolve together. I'm radiating love from my heart to yours.
Thank you.
You can learn more about mindful, compassionate dialogue and find free resources, live offerings, and self-paced workshops online at wiseheartcommunity.org. You can also find Wise Heart's new Life Serving Boundaries book, now available on the website.